Ever wonder how that tiny device on your finger knows how much oxygen is in your blood? It almost feels like magic, right? But there's no magic here, just science. Although if you squint really hard, it might look like a tiny spaceship trying to scan your finger for alien life forms. Grab your popcorn because we're about to explore the fascinating world of pulse oximeters. First things first, what exactly is a pulse oximeter? No, it's not a mini flashlight or some fancy gadget from the future, although it looks like something straight out of Star Trek. It's actually a small device that checks the oxygen level in your blood. You know that thing they clip onto your finger at the doctor's office that makes you feel like you're part robot for a few minutes? It's like having a little superhero that can tell how well your body is doing just by shining some light. Think of it as your body's own personal Instagram filter. It's always checking if you're looking your best on the inside. Or maybe it's more like a tiny detective wearing a trench coat and everything, investigating the mystery of the case of the missing oxygen. Now let me take just 30 seconds to break down what's really happening inside this tiny device. Your oximeter actually has two tiny lights inside, a red one and an infrared one. These lights are shining straight through your finger to a light detector on the other side. Pretty simple so far, right? Here's the cool part. When your blood is carrying lots of oxygen, it likes to absorb infrared light, but lets the red light pass right through. And when your blood doesn't have much oxygen, it does exactly the opposite. The oximeter is basically counting how much of each light makes it through your finger, doing some quick math, and bam, that's your oxygen level. Imagine you're at a party with a bunch of red and infrared disco lights. Fancy, right? When you stick your finger in the oximeter, it's like starting a tiny disco party. The device shoots these lights through your finger. But don't worry, no dance moves required. Picture this. Your blood cells are like tiny partygoers at this light show, and they're very picky about which lights they want to dance with. It's basically like running a very exclusive nightclub inside your finger. Here's where it gets really interesting. Your blood cells are like the world's pickiest party guests. Oxygen-rich blood cells are total divas. They're all, ooh, give me that infrared light, but turn their nose up at red light. Oxygen-poor blood cells are the opposite. They're like, red light is my jam, and ignore the infrared. Oh, the oximeter is like the world's most attentive bouncer, keeping track of who prefers what. It's like a microscopic version of a dating show, the Bachelor Blood Cell Edition. Who will accept the red light's rose, and who will go for the infrared instead? Now let's talk about SpO2. Sure, it sounds like a rejected droid name from Star Wars, but it's actually just a fancy way of saying how much oxygen is in your blood. Think of it as traffic lights. Green, 95-100%. Woohoo! Everything's flowing smoother than a buttered penguin. Yellow, 90-94%. Might want to slow down like when you see your ex at the grocery store. Red, below 90%. Time for a pit stop like when your phone battery hits 1% and you're nowhere near a charger. Want to see something cool? Try these totally safe experiments with your oximeter. Take a few deep breaths and watch the numbers climb. It's like giving your blood cells a pep talk. Hold your breath and watch the numbers drop. Don't overdo it though, your blood cells aren't training for the Olympics. Wave your hand around while measuring. Watch those numbers go crazy like a sugar-rushed toddler. Want to use your oximeter like a pro? Here's the scoop. Make sure your hands are warm. Cold fingers are like bad Wi-Fi, unreliable and frustrating. Think about it. Have you ever tried texting with frozen fingers? That's what your oximeter feels when dealing with cold hands. When your fingers are cold, your blood vessels get shy and hide away, technically called vasoconstriction, but let's not get fancy. Stay still. It's taking a picture, not filming an action movie. Your oximeter is like that friend who can't take a photo without it being blurry. It needs you to stay super still. Every wiggle is like an earthquake to this tiny device. No nail polish, sorry, fashion has to wait, or at least one finger does. Here's the deal. Nail polish is like sunglasses for your oximeter. Those fancy colors are basically putting your blood cells in disguise. Dark polish is especially sneaky. It's like trying to see through a brick wall. Even gel and acrylic nails can be troublemakers. Don't squeeze it, It's not a stress ball, even though doctor visits can make you want one. Squeezing the oximeter is like hugging someone too tight. Nobody can breathe. When you squeeze, you're basically telling your blood, no entry. Oh wait, there's more. While your oximeter is playing light detective with your oxygen levels, it's also counting your heartbeats. It's like having a tiny DJ in there, keeping track of your body's natural rhythm. And unlike your actual DJ friend, this one never misses a beat or tries to play Baby Shark at inappropriate moments. Think of it as your heart's personal speedometer. 60-80 beats, cruising along nicely. Above 100, fast and furious mode. Below 60, slow and steady wins the race. And here's the coolest part. Every time your heart beats, your blood vessels actually get a tiny bit bigger, like a microscopic balloon. The oximeter sees this and goes, aha, another beat. It's like having a tiny spy in your finger, but a good spy, like James Bond, not one of the bad guys. So there you have it. That little clip-on device isn't just playing with lights, it's your body's own health reporter, keeping you in the loop on your oxygen levels. No magic wands, no crystal balls, just clever science making sure you're breathing easy. If you enjoyed this disco party of pulse oximetry and want to join more science adventures, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from, and I promise it's a no-stress zone. No doctor's waiting room or cold stethoscopes here. Thanks for watching, and remember, science is everywhere. You just need the right lens to see it.